In this podcast, you'll hear from the top personal trainers and respected wellness practitioners in the space. They'll be talking about stuff like how moving your body is essential to a robust well-being, how to age with strength and with grace, how to nourish your mind and body through good nutrition versus the latest fad diets, and so much more. If you want a deep dive into a lifestyle of trainers and those who assist in true healthcare, then you're in the right place. This place was created for you to help you improve your future well-being.
Welcome, family. I got a special guest with us today, Lance Forrest.
How you doing?
He's one of our trainers here at Fit 360, and I'm just gonna be chatting it up, and hopefully you guys can learn something in the process through our conversation. Here we go, man. So, it's my man Lance. How you feel, man?
I feel good. Just having a
feel
good little
good?
workout in. I
Yeah?
feel good, yeah.
Yeah, nice. You pumped up for the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Camera shot.
Yeah, you gotta keep it
Exactly.
right, man. Yeah, you gotta show the people what you got working with, right?
Live by example.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first question, man.
Yes.
I know you've been a personal trainer for a while now, but I really don't know how long that is.
Yes.
How long you been in the business, man?
I've been in the business since 1995. So it's been, 2015, 27 years? 27 years?
27 years?
It's been 27 years when I first started training people.
Oh, man, that's great. That's great. And you're still doing it.
I still do, and I still love it.
Still love it.
I still love it.
Passion.
Passion, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, me too, man. It's been a while I've been in the game, and it's still a big passion of mine. It's a really big passion of mine, and which is a good thing, right? Because it will keep us going in the game, keep us excited, keep us motivating
Exactly.
other people, right?
Yes, I agree.
And I assume that this is something that you're probably going to keep doing to the rest of your life.
Yeah, I feel like I can do it in some capacity.
Yeah.
You know, even when I'm 90, I can train somebody who can train. Maybe somebody who's in their 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be training until I can't move anymore.
Good. So tell me, how you start out in doing this? What was the motivation, and why this career in particular?
You want the short version or the long version?
Long version, man. We
Long
talking.
version.
I want
Okay.
details.
All right.
I want the gut.
Okay, well, I just wanted to prepare you for it. Well, when I first started working out, my brother used to take me in the basement. I hated it. I ran track for a long time. So he used to take me in the basement. I used to work out. I was like 14. He would work out with me. I wouldn't see him for a whole nother month after that.
Okay.
But I went in the military, and at that point, I started working out on my own. And it just took a whole new life. I started working out, exercising, started realizing I had a natural act for it. Other people started noticing it, so what I did was I started competing first.
Right.
I became a competitive
Oh, you
bodybuilder.
competed?
Yeah, I started competing in 1986, 87. I
Okay.
did my very first competition while I was in the military.
Nice.
And I actually did a great job.
Yeah.
Being my first time out. Competing against people who've been doing it for a long time, and I took second. I won. And then I did my second competition in England, which is where I was stationed at.
Wait. England?
I was in England for 3.5 years.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so I competed abroad, and then I won. So that was my start of exercising and working out and loving to work out. Fast forward, maybe 8 years later,
Right.
I've always been into the entertainment industry. Like I did fitness modeling, I did acting and stuff. So when I first decided I wanted to become a trainer, it was trying to combine doing the entertainment as well as something I can make money from and still keep it moving.
Right.
I started learning a 9 to 5
And
job.
give you time, too.
Yeah, and give me time to be able
Right,
to do
right,
it. It made my
right.
schedule more flexible. So the 9 to 5 job just didn't work. When I went to go to auditions, it just was too much of a hassle.
Right.
So I sat down and started thinking about what do I love more than anything that I've never given up on, that I've never decided I was going to shift gears, and it was exercising. And at that point, I decided I wanted to start personal training. So at that point, I had moved to California.
Okay.
I was actually actively pursuing modeling, fitness stuff, and everything. And I went out there again. I had a kind of a 9 to 5 job, and it was a problem. So at that point in '95, I decided I'm going to have to make a change. And that was when I decided I was going to personal train. I walked into one of the valleys, and I told the guy I wasn't even certified, but I looked the part.
Right.
I looked the part. So as soon as I walked in, I told the guy I wanted to be a trainer, and, you know, was they hiring? Didn't ask me my credentials or nothing. He just said, he looked me up and down. He said, yeah, when can you start? And I started the next day. I quit my job, and from that point on, I've been a personal trainer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's so amazing how all the trainers I've spoken to, even myself, have a lot of similar startup background. You know, things like the roads that we travel are kind of very similar.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I just realized that how close knit that we are, even though we might not know each other, and how our journey started in this business. Yeah. So you said you were modeling and doing a little acting as well.
And dancing. Yeah.
So what happened with those two careers?
Those two careers are still going on a little bit. They're on the background.
Okay.
I just don't pursue them like I used to. I used to chase after them, and I just realized I don't want to chase it no more. So what I do is I do it when I want to do it now. But what happened? I achieved a lot. I mean, if you ever, you know, I try to tell people not to Google me, but if you ever Google me, you'll find I've done a lot of stuff. Most people don't know because I just don't wear it on my shoulder.
Right.
But I still actively pursue it. I've done a lot of stuff. I've done some stuff with some top people, without name calling.
Right.
But I've done it. I had a chance. I've had my years of pursuing it and being successful. But at some point in time, I call it being on. I got tired of being on all the time.
Gotcha.
I got tired of having to represent in a certain way all the time. So at that point, I kind of wanted to make a shift and decided I'm not chasing anymore. I'm gonna do it when it comes available or when it works for me, and just do it in a different way. Now I'm kind of more behind the scenes, and I do a little bit in front of the camera, but most of it's behind the scenes.
Yeah. I was for me, I did some modeling myself, and I tried at the acting thing, and people was pushing me to do it, and man, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't, you know, I can't follow the lines and act at the same time.
Yeah.
The mental,
Yes.
You know, trying to act and say the lines at the same time, I just couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. So I kind of left that alone, and you know, I always want to do stuff I'm comfortable with.
Exactly.
Nothing I have to force. Did some TV commercials as well, but again, that worked because I didn't have any speaking parts in it, so it was cool. But yeah, man. So you said you started in California.
I started my personal training, my becoming a model. Well, I started that here, but yes, my personal training started in California.
Oh, how old were you then?
I was 28 to 29.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's about the same time you started working out.
Well, no, I started
before that.
No, I started working out when I was 19.
Oh, 19.
Yes, I was already.
So you
I was very
had
involved.
the body.
Yes, I was
right,
already
because you competed.
Yeah.
You did well at that.
Yes.
Okay. So, what was the journey from California to Atlanta?
Well, actually, there was a journey in between there. When I got out of the military in '90, I actually moved to Georgia first, and I moved to Georgia from '90 to '95. I was in Georgia.
Okay.
And I was trying to pursue
Georgia or Atlanta?
No, Atlanta. I was living.
Atlanta.
I moved to Augusta first. I stayed there 8 months. Realized it was a little too slow for me. I immediately moved to Atlanta.
Right.
And then I started trying to pursue my acting, my modeling, and I was working 9 to 5. And I realized that my look, my everything wasn't working in Atlanta. It just wasn't working. I was a little too different. My look was a little too different for
California.
Well, California. I had the California feel. In California, it was just had a different vibe.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
in '95, I drove my car across country. I was debating for 2 years what to do, and I decided the only way I was going to make this happen is just to get up and move. And I got up and moved. I got up, drove my car across country, and I moved to California. And in '95 is when I started really, really pursuing it in a big way as far as my modeling, my acting. And I've done some fitness videos. I did some commercials. Had some campaign ads that I was up for. So it was a life experience, and it was a life changing experience for me.
Okay. Did you ever thought about? Did you ever did anything like that in New York? Did you ever get to the New York scene?
I did. When I was trying to debate which way I was going to go, I was debating between New York and California. So that was up in the air.
Because those are the two.
Those are two.
Right,
but for me at the time, I was more commercial. I wasn't. I didn't feel like I was theater. At that particular time, it was either theater or commercial, theater, commercial, or modeling. And I don't think I fit the look in New York for the modeling, but I fit the look in California for modeling.
Right.
you know, kind of the boy next door,
Right.
fit, athletic. In New York, you kind of have to have this kind of Euro look,
Right,
kind
this
of
runway
high fashion look,
type,
this runway
high
look,
fashion,
high
yeah,
fashion.
yeah.
And so that was my deciding factor why I went to California instead of New York, because I'm originally from New Jersey.
Okay. Oh, really?
I'm from New Jersey. I was born and raised in New Jersey, so
Okay.
it was easy. It would have been easy to go to New Jersey.
Mhm.
My family's up there,
Mhm.
but California was the most sensible and reasonable place to go because of what I offered.
Okay. So similar, I wanna. What caused you to start competing?
Someone else telling me how great I looked. Literally,
Okay.
literally.
Okay.
I used to be in the gym in the military, and I was working out, and people used to always come up to me and say, "Man, you got a great body." Mind you, I came from track and field.
I'm laughing because it's similar, same thing with me.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just so crazy.
Had no idea that I was even interested in doing it. When I first started the gym, I went in there not concerned about weight, no nothing. I said, I'm doing this for me.
Mhm.
So I went and started working out. Then people just kept like looking and making comments. Hey man, you look good. You got this vein that just makes you ready for a bodybuilder. And I was talking to it.
Yeah.
Literally, I was talking to it. Someone made me feel so good about it that I
Right.
decided to do it.
Right.
And
Literally,
he-
I was begged. Like,
I
this
was-
girl begged me. She's a competitor,
Yes.
also a personal trainer at Bally's.
Yeah.
I finally had to give in, and believe me, how she said it is how it went down.
Nice.
So it went down, and I got the bug and continued. And I thought it was at the time it was good for a specific reason, because for me, remember in those days we didn't have social media to
Exactly.
advertise what we did.
Yes. Yeah.
And so we had to, that was a good way to kind of get noticed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in our field of expertise. And so that, I was like, well, this will work.
Mhm.
It's a form of advertisement, you know what I mean? Show people what we can do, so people can believe in us to
Exactly.
pick me for your trainer, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, because it was a new business back then, back in those days.
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
I agree.
I mean, so was it the same thing?
It was
Same
totally
way?
the same for me. You wasn't
Yeah.
sure if you could make a lot of money from it.
Right.
You just
right.
knew that it depends on what niche you had. Mine, I think for me, I represented what people wanted.
Right.
So for me, it was a little easier, but
Mhm.
yeah, it was hard. I mean, if you didn't have a certain something,
Mm-hmm.
you went back to work.
It did, yeah.
If you
You're
didn't have a
right.
certain
Absolutely right.
something,
It wasn't
you went
hard
back
for
to
me.
work. It wasn't hard for me either.
But the thing is that I was working. I had an amazing corporate job. I had a really good job, great benefits,
Mhm.
and the personal training thing wasn't
Yeah.
something that I thought of.
Mhm.
Again, I was asked to do it
Yeah.
because back then they didn't have trainers in the gyms back then,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and so they had to just pick people off the floor like, let me get that guy to help me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was one of those guys. So it wasn't hard for me. I was getting too much clients
Mhm.
that I didn't have time to go to do both jobs, and so eventually I had to end up quitting my corporate job,
Yeah.
and that's I ended up in training. How about you?
Same thing. Mine was more intentional. So
Okay.
I worked 9 to 5 job as well. Mine wasn't in corporate, and well, for me, I wasn't in my career for starts. So
Mhm.
when I decided to go into personal training, my career, I was always wanting to be an artist,
Mhm.
entertainment.
Mhm.
So for me, when I got out of the military, I worked in sales.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very, very intentional in knowing kind of what choices to make as far as the personal training. As far as the bodybuilding, we get back to that I was totally talked into that.
Right, right,
But as far as personal training,
There's no money in that.
Yeah,
That's not a career.
Oh yeah.
A real career. Some people, yeah.
Yeah.
That's another subject. But yeah.
So
Mhm.
for me it was intentional. So I sat down and thought about what was best for me, choice wise, career wise.
Mhm.
And then the bodybuilding, of course, I was talked into. But once I did, I got the bug,
Yeah.
and I always did good in it. I was always in the top crop, and that just kind of helped.
Yeah, okay. So, did you think personal training back then was a career move?
No, not even a career. I just thought
It
I
wasn't
was just about making money.
Right, but was it like not only just for you personally,
Mhm.
but was it a career back then?
You
I
know,
mean, from what I see, it wasn't a career move.
I don't
It
think
was just something that we did, right?
it was just, I feel like I agree. It was just
I think
something
we
that
made
did.
it into a career.
Yeah, I agree.
As
I agree.
it got more popular and started being on TV, and people
Mhm.
started showing personal training on TV,
Yeah.
and it started to take hold
Mhm.
and develop into a career, because most people used to do it as a side job just to make a little money. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't think it even had a title. you know,
I
there were
don't-
no certification.
Well,
What is certification?
but in California it was a little bit different. I think they were more progressive. I would say in California they was way ahead of where
Because that's where it kinda
Because that's where it started. So
Right.
when I started in California,
Right.
So it was starting in California. It felt, though it wasn't a career per se, it felt like it could become a career
Okay.
because so many people in California was pushing it. You go to California, there's a trainer here, trainer there, artists, stars looking for training. So
Right, right.
It was a career in California.
Okay.
It's
okay.
just other places was a little bit different.
Right.
But in California, a lot of people did it, and they made good money from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So I would say that in New York compared to California, New York was the second location because of the acting as well
Yes.
that it started to kick in.
Mhm.
But I felt personal training take a turn a little bit, or it started to move away from the mainstream bodybuilding type of
Mhm.
look,
I agree.
and then went into something else.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think
I
that
think
was?
people started realizing it wasn't just about bodybuilding, it was a lifestyle thing.
Okay.
I think people, again, like anything that becomes popular, it starts off one way and then it evolves. It evolves, and I think initially the bodybuilders were the ones that everybody looked at and they saw, that's what they do, they train, but then they started realizing, people started realizing I can make money from this.
Right.
And it became more of a lifestyle approach. And I
Right.
think it changed when people changed their perspective on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Realize that it's not just about the bodybuilding. It's not just about the bodybuilders.
So then and now is
Yeah.
so far apart
Exactly.
from where we are now.
Exactly.
I mean, the whole game has changed.
Mm-hmm.
The great thing is that your people like you and I,
Mhm.
were involved in the change and the progression of it.
Exactly.
Not to say that we personally go in and change everything, but we changed. We made some changes, but we made some changes. We changed along with what other people made changes to it.
Agree.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think that's pretty incredible. I wonder where is it going to be from here? Have you ever think about that?
It's
Like, is there any more meat on the bone?
I think there's always going to be meat on the bone because there's always going to be people going to always want special care, special attention.
Mhm.
I think what's going to evolve is the fact that we'll have more, which I think we've always done it to a little bit, but more of people just dealing with the internet, dealing with the not the one-on-one as much, but more of technology, how to move forward, like the phones, the computer,
Yeah.
Things that allow them to do everything they want to do, but they're interacting with like TV, computer,
Mhm, mhm,
phones.
mhm.
I don't think
How
we're
do you
ever.
feel about that, personally?
Honestly,
I got my own feelings about it.
I honestly, I'm okay with it. You know why?
Mhm.
Because I feel like as we get older, this is
Mhm.
best because it's less wear and tear on you. Because people don't realize, as trainers, we're grabbing people weights and stuff, so we are working out all day.
Mhm.
So if it goes to technology a little bit, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, because I made a comment about that. It says
Mhm.
people always think that we're just sitting there counting,
Exactly.
and they have no
They
idea
ha-
how much physical work that we do
Mm-hmm.
with every client throughout the whole day,
Mhm.
lifting up weights, handing it to them, taking it away from them,
Exactly.
racking away the machines, unracking the machines. It's constant movement that we are doing, and not to mention the mental. Coming up with different exercises for different clients.
Exactly.
People have different kind of ailments, sicknesses, and so we have to work each person differently.
Mhm.
What did we work on in the last time versus
Mhm.
this time?
Mhm.
It's so energy draining.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, we are therapists for people.
Exactly.
There's a conversation.
Exactly. Yes.
The conversations that we have to keep up with.
Yeah.
And so not only we have to know what in terms of exercises, we have to know what works for each client that we have. We have to know what they did the last time compared to this time.
Exactly.
What they're going to do next.
Mhm.
We physically have to do a lot of physical movements and work
Mhm.
for our clients. We have to be therapists.
Yes.
Or coaches, like
Yes.
mental coaches, not only
Exactly.
physical coaches, but mental coaches, because
Exactly.
people have issues they want to talk about. They
Mhm.
feel comfortable with us,
Mhm.
and they'll tell us anything and everything.
Mhm.
So we have to deal with that, and it's per client.
Exactly. Different
Because how boring can
personalities.
it be that you train a client and you're not having any conversation?
Exactly.
So then, not only that, we have to know the daily operations of life, so we can talk to our clients intelligently.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say, man, I have an issue in my back and my neck or whatever. How can you
Yes.
fix that?
Yes.
What is that? And we have to give them information based on what we think they should do and why this is hurting and that's hurting. And
Yes.
we are constantly busy
Yes.
from a mental and a physical perspective and emotional as well, because sometimes something could be emotional with a client that we have to kind of attach ourselves to and say, wow, you know, and be empathetic
Exactly.
to our clients.
So we have to have all those emotions intact.
It's a lot of title in that
Exactly.
one
Exactly.
little thing.
I agree.
And so, shit, man, we deserve more than what we get paid
I know.
for. And I have had clients over the years told me, Fitz, you are worth every penny and more that I pay you. That is a fucking good feeling. That even if one of your clients recognize that and tell you that, you know what I mean. I think it's great to be able to hear that. Also, I've had a client multiple times told me I need to raise my rate. And when I tell trainers this, it's like, man, I've never had that happen before. I've had that happen 3 times in my career. It's like I wasn't charging enough. And I thought I was charging a hell of a lot. But again, it's good to know that they can recognize the things that you do for them.
And they value you.
They value you.
Yes.
It's a value, and they're willing to pay you for it happily. I want more. I want that for other trainers. I really do, because I think we are valuable in people's lives.
I agree.
On every level of our lifespan.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a special type of people that should be working out? And in other words, do you need to be overweight to be the only person to be in the gym?
No. I think everybody deserves to work. I think everybody deserves to exercise.
Totally agree.
Because we all exercise for different reasons.
Totally agree.
You have some people that need to lose weight. You have some people that need to build muscle. You have some people that need to lose body fat. You have some people that need to work on illnesses or
Mental
work on
stability.
mental stability.
Yeah. Stress.
Injury, stress.
Aging.
Yeah.
It
There's
goes on.
so much that you apply to exercise.
Goes on.
Yeah, it's more than just.
The reason why I asked that though, over the years I'll be in an establishment and I'll take out my business card and I'll see someone and I'll hand them my business card. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I've done that, and they look at me, and this is more than once. They look at me and say, "Are you saying that I'm fat?"
Come on, that's their own insecurity.
I know it is. But there's an intelligent factor that's lacking, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That you think that only fat people needs to work out.
See, but
Which is the problem, I think, with a lot of people who don't work out.
Yeah.
Is that they think, oh, I'm good, I don't need it.
look what society is telling us.
Yeah.
When they're telling people to lose weight or exercise, it's almost like they're trying to target only people. Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying we all can benefit from this.
Yes.
It's something about the message is saying only big people, only fat people, only people who are heavier needs to really focus on this. Everybody else you can just do it for fun. Just have a good time,
Right.
But we know.
I think that's the main reason.
No, you should have fun.
It should be for fun.
It should be fun. But,
or it gives you the ability to have physical fun.
Yes.
As well. I mean,
It's
man,
a
the more we
mindset.
talk about this exercise thing, the door is so wide open as to the benefit of it. It's amazing.
Oh yeah. It's what you. I tell people all the time. It's what you put behind it. You know, if you put. They ask me all the time, why do you work out? Why you've been working out for a long time? You know, you enjoy it. I say, you know what? It's what I put behind it.
Right.
You know, I'm passionate about it. I do it because mentally it makes me feel better. It relieves my stress. Physically, I look better. I said, so when you put all those things, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
You know, so it depends on what you put behind it.
So how often a week do you work out?
6 days a week.
6
I'm
days?
always doing something. Yes.
Shit, man, you're missing a day, man.
That's only because God said you need to rest. That's one day.
Okay,
but I sometimes squeeze that day in there too.
You have to respect God wish then, man. Hey, so leave it 6. So what type of workout do you do for yourself personally? Like, and in terms of weightlifting, calisthenics, and so on. Like, what works best for Lance? And it could be something as then, different now. It could evolve.
Well, my workouts vary. I mean, over the years, I've done so many different ways of training. I mean, I went from being a bodybuilder to being a track runner to being a triathlete or biathlete. So I've had so many.
So the type of training has to change.
It changed with what I'm doing, and it varies. Now, my training is more slower.
Mm-hmm.
My reps are a little bit less than they used to be.
Why is that?
Only. I don't know. It's just where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
No particular reason except that it's just kind of where I'm at right now.
Okay.
As I've gotten older, I've noticed my joints bother me a little bit. So for me, it's very important to do something and not, back in the day, it's always about heaviness,
right.
How much we can push. And as you get older, you learn that you don't have to stop all these things. You just got to adjust what you're doing.
Right.
So for me, my style of training now is just slow and steady. I do cardio every day. I do 15, 20 minutes cardio every single day. And just doing stuff that's more lifestyle based. I'll get out and ride my bike. I go beltline walking, and I just, with weight wise, I'm in the gym 5-6 days a week, and I break it up with muscle groups.
Gotcha.
I'll do chest on one day, and biceps and triceps on another, and then legs and back, and I break it up that way.
Good. So what about in your eating habits? What's that like? For you?
Well, I've had different levels of my eating habits. In the beginning, my eating habits were very rigid, very low fat, don't eat certain things, and I just realized I was stripping my body of a lot of stuff. So now my eating habits are more balanced now. Not too much of nothing. When I say not too much of nothing, not too much drinking, not too much sugar, not too much of. I try to balance out where everything is more balanced. I give myself a little bit of everything. I do kind of modify things a lot. Again,
try this,
try that. The sodium intake, see what works.
Right.
Make sure I'm getting.
So you're not listening to the naysayers and what they consider to be healthy, because it's about their pocket at the end of the day.
It's about their pocket. But it's also knowing what to take in. You know that if you take in a lot of sugar, you know what that's going to do for you.
Right.
You know if you eat late at night, you eat the wrong stuff, you know what that's going to do to you. I limit the type of stuff. I don't drink soda. I try to modify how much bread I take in, because we know that what that does for you.
So what is your substitute for soda?
I literally just drink water. I drink water 95% of the time. I may squeeze a lemonade in there, because to me, I rationalize it with its lemon.
Okay.
I'll throw maybe some natural juices in there.
Gotcha.
But 95% is I literally just drink water.
Awesome. So how many meals a day you?
Okay, if I'm being honest with you.
I want all honesty.
Okay, I'm gonna give you honesty. I'm gonna give you when I'm
so far so good.
I'm gonna give you my goal setting, and I'm gonna give you what I sometimes achieve. Okay. My goal setting is 5, 6, 7 times a day. Okay. But I'm naturally not a big eater. I am naturally not a big eater, so I tend to sway to the side of lesser calories. So I will get 3 or 4 meals in a day on my lesser calorie days. But on my days where I'm really kind of on point and I'm on top of it, I'll get 6 meals. I'll get 6 meals in.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
For me, that's challenging. I mean, I used to eat like that when I was competing.
Yes.
I stopped competing for that very reason. I don't want to eat like that anymore.
I know.
But most people would think eating that much times will make you fat.
No, it speeds your metabolism up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you eat more to speed metabolism up, because the body is not going to put food in storage and thinking, I need to survive because I'm not getting enough food.
Exactly.
So do you believe that there's 2 ways? I believe that there's 2 ways you can get fat. It's eating way too much bad calorie food and don't eat enough food.
I agree.
So when you talk about balance earlier, it's always a balancing act.
Yes.
Even you can over-exercise, you can under-exercise. Find the middle ground.
Yes.
Yeah. So absolutely. I think that's a good way that you can do. That's one way. It doesn't have to be one way for everybody, but it's one way for you.
Yes.
For me, I'll consume an average of 3 meals a day. Okay. For one, I can't eat that much anymore. Like 5 meals.
Yeah.
Especially if it's a balanced meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is fine. But one thing I love to do, I love to snack. But I don't snack on bad stuff. I snack on grapes when I'm watching TV. I'll snack on watermelon, nuts, stuff like that.
But is this at night? Is this at night?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
My body can handle that. I can eat late at night and go to bed. I don't normally make that a habit,
Yeah.
but I definitely can because my body is. I burn metabolism really, really fast,
Yes.
and that's just my body type. I'm not saying that someone should do that as a thing for them, and then things that you have to do what works for you.
I agree.
Okay, and that works for me. I can eat some, but I don't normally do it because I don't like to have all that food in my stomach.
Yeah.
And going to bed and feeling uncomfortable. I can eat stuff that most people don't eat because most people don't eat the healthy stuff. They want to snack on chips and sweet stuff, and I can't.
Sugary, salty.
I don't have. Somehow I didn't get that sweet tooth,
Yeah.
which I'm glad I didn't, because when I see sweet stuff, sugary stuff, I feel disgusted. Like it just turns me off. I don't care how pretty it looks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I started thinking about the taste. Like, oh my God, it's so sweet. I can't eat that sweet stuff. So, I can eat sweet if it's fruits. I can eat tangy if it's from fruits. Food is a very personal thing.
Yeah, for a lot of people. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It should be. I would tell everyone to do, because I don't like to tell people to do what I do. Find your own thing.
Exactly.
But man, enjoy your food.
Exactly. Whatever you eat.
It's important.
Yeah.
It just shows gratitude for your food, gratitude for the people who provide the food to get to your belly. And your body, your cells read these things. So if you're disgusted that you're eating something, it's not going to benefit you health-wise. I really, really believe that, because your cells are alive. They may not have a brain, but they have a brain that they're spiritual.
Yeah.
And so they can pick up resonance of you being disgusted about eating this particular thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do.
People may not believe that, but I really believe that to be true. I know it to be true for me.
Yeah.
And so you should enjoy what you eat, even if it's bad food. Enjoy it, and it might nourish your body better than what you expect.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you consider a healthy food, though?
What do I consider healthy food? Grains.
Okay.
I'm big about grains. I think certain fruit are healthy. I think certain fruits still it still puts that sugar level on you. I kind of stay away from red meats. I'm more of a chicken, a turkey, fish. That's what I would consider kind of healthy proteins, healthy meats for me.
Okay.
I kind of stay away from dairies. I do more like almond milk type stuff. I do eat eggs, but I kind of get rid of the yolk because of the cholesterol for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I stay away from the real sugary stuff.
So when you say sugary stuff, are we talking about straight sugar from fruit or processed sugar?
Processed sugar.
Right.
Processed sugar. I try to stay away from more processed sugar. Yeah.
This is a big subject, right? When it comes to food. Let's get away from the personal thing for a little bit.
Okay.
So people are talking, there's stuff on TV, people are talking about what type of meat in terms of red poultry, fish, what's not good for you. And people are talking about carbohydrates, and carbohydrates is not good for you. Now you have to realize that carbohydrates, it's a food group, okay? Carbs meaning bread, yams, rice, blah, blah, blah. Vegetables,
Yeah.
right? And then there's fats, and then there is meat, which is protein. I go back to how I grew up, and eating red meat, eating fish, eating chicken, and I remember like it was yesterday that no one got sick from eating that stuff.
But it was less processed back then. Everything's more processed.
Hold your thought for me.
Yeah.
So, and I remember eating yams and all that stuff daily. Flour, dumplings, bread, hard dough bread, because I grew up in Jamaica. Hard dough bread, which is very dense bread, made from white flour. Okay? No one got sick from that stuff. My grandmother lived to 90-something years old. I never seen that woman went to a doctor. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I do. I totally do.
And I see people her age live to live that long. These people never been to the doctor. Okay? They didn't have no disease, no cancer. I didn't know what cancer was until I came to this country. So, food group: protein, fat, carbohydrates. You know, okay, let's throw vegetables in there, which is carbs and protein. Vegetables got everything.
Yes.
Okay. Where did this unhealthy food come from in terms of those things? Not generalizing meats, not generalizing carbohydrates, not generalizing fat, not generalizing vegetables and fruits. What we tend to do in this society, is to pool everything in that group. Okay, is it meat that's bad?
No.
Is it red meat that's bad?
No, it's not. No.
So there's bad red meat, there's bad fish, there's bad chicken.
I agree.
There's bad pork. All those things are bad. There's bad vegetables. There's bad fruits. There's bad carbohydrates.
Yes.
Okay? And the reason why those things are, I'm going to go as far as to say they're bad, is because of the way they were either raised and processed.
Exactly. I agree.
So if you have vegetables that are grown in soil that are constantly being used over and over and over, pesticides, fertilizer, all that stuff, then of course we're not going to have 100% healthy vegetables. Fruits, same thing. Now you go to the meats, and the meats are red meats, are coming from cows that are locked in close proximity of each other, that are being fed grain, no grass, they're not moving around.
They're unhealthy.
They're unhealthy meats. Right?
Yes.
And then you have chickens the same way. Then you have fish now who's being farm raised. Okay? So basically our food are unhealthy from that perspective.
I agree.
What if you can get all of those same food, but grow as whole food, naturally, cows that are raised, walking around eating grass, and is that considered healthy meat, red meat? So why aren't we learning about those things? Meat, food on that level.
You know why? Because everything is fast now. To get turnaround time, everything has to be processed and fast now. So everything is processed now. Like the chickens have hormones in it. You know, the meats have hormones in it. So because of that, you know, that's why it's considered unhealthy now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, you and I know that.
Yeah,
we know
yeah.
that. But the mass of people who are confused about food, they say, don't eat red meat, and that's it.
Exactly.
The conversation is over.
They don't understand. That's why.
I don't eat chicken, the conversation is over.
Yeah.
Become a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Well, why are we vegetarian? We're humans. We're supposed to consume meat, right? Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to choose to eat meat, but I'm going to choose to eat a healthier version of meat, which is red meat, fish, whatever. I don't want to eat farm-raised fish. Make the choices that way. You know what I mean? Let me find a source where I can get healthy red meats, healthy fish, and all those things, and eat that way. And I believe, because of the way food are being raised and grown and processed, that makes the food bad.
I 100% agree with you.
Right?
Yeah, totally.
And if we can educate our people to eat from a whole food perspective, because you can eat fruits. I've never seen anybody get fat off of fruits. I've never seen anybody get unhealthy off of eating vegetables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And I've never seen anybody get unhealthy off of eating whole carbohydrates. You know what I mean? I grew up with people, we got yams out of the ground and we cook it every which way but up. And no one got sick off of that. And it gives us a lot of energy. And history have shown that, because if you think of one of the things that our Jamaican athletes are fed on was yams. And these are white yams, yellow yams, that they come from straight out of the ground from their backyard, unprocessed. I mean, these are vegetables that come out of the ground where there's no fertilizer and no pesticides, and none of that stuff is killing them. And so killing the food, so the dead food is coming into our body, and that's what's making us sick as a human, as Americans. Okay?
Yes.
Making us sick. We still not are pushing as to why this is happening. People are not asking the right questions. They're not asking enough questions. They're not making the right decisions. And I believe that the decisions that you make today will always affect your tomorrow, whether it be good or bad.
I agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
And so I hope that whoever's listening to this can really, this is just a surface of what I'm talking about, but this is a good trigger.
Yes.
As to say, you know, I didn't know this, and I never looked at it this way. Let me go dive in as an individual and find out for myself.
Yes.
And so I've been really irritated about when it comes to food and what I've experienced. And now you go to CrossFit and they have all these different diets that they're giving people.
But there's no trick to it. There's no secret. There is no quick way around it. But you know, to motivate a person to understand that, it's been very difficult, because everything in society has been, let's get this done quick. I have a client now that I'm working with that she's losing weight and everything, but she's so flustered because it's not moving fast enough. Though she lost 16 pounds in a month.
Really?
She's still it's that impatientness. I told her, what you're doing now is changing your lifestyle. So don't think about it as a quick fix.
So even though she's losing the weight, you have to be still motivating her.
I still gotta motivate her to.
So what is she? If she can't lose weight any faster, what's her plan? To stop? Because it's not fast enough.
It's not that she's going to stop, but she's in her head. So what it does is it does this sabotaging, where you start making choices that don't always coincide or go in line with what you're trying to do.
Right.
And it's like a subconscious choice. Yeah.
And if we do that, so people like that probably do it in their other parts of their life too as well.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you, it's in other parts of their life.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
But all we can do is just keep motivating them, keep telling them, and just hopefully keep educating them.
Absolutely. I mean, you know,
that's why we're
you
trainers.
and I are exactly
because we have the patience to do all this.
To kind of hang in there with them. And
yes.
Yeah, it happened to me too.
Yeah.
All the time. All the time. It's amazing to me how the brain, you look at things. One of the things that puzzles me is when someone is losing weight, the scale is going up, but their size is going down, and yet they're still mad about the fact that they're getting smaller, even though the scale is not going down.
But you know what that's all about.
I know.
Again, you know what? I keep going back to society, social media, all that. It's like, because it tells them no matter how good you are, how good you look, if the scale doesn't say it, it don't matter. It don't matter. And
I
you
can throw away the scale.
I'm like,
I tell them, yo, get rid of the scale.
It's a crutch.
From day one. I was like, listen.
It's a crutch.
Get rid of the scale. If you cannot weigh once a month.
Yes.
And not every day.
Yeah.
I say get rid of the scale.
Exactly. I agree.
And if they can't, and they're fighting me on it, I say, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Let it be.
See, but that's where the therapy comes in.
Yeah.
That's the therapy we do.
That's the trainer
therapy where we gotta, use our therapy to help them to kind of get through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But also, man, just thinking about how our own clients teaches us about ourselves.
Yeah.
And about our own lives. Because sometimes you don't think about a thing until it comes up from somewhere else, a client or whatever. And it's like, oh, shit, never thought about that.
Exactly.
It's like, this is how people's brain works. Because for you, it's like, okay, you're doing your thing, but you just never know how someone else sees something versus when you see it. It's like they say you can have an accident on a street corner, and it could be 50 people, and 50 people will give you a different version of the same story.
Yes.
It all depends on where you're standing. That's amazing to me, though. So, how has being here at Fit 360 benefit your business? As it benefit your business? I don't know.
let's just
Because
say
you used to own your own gym.
I used to own my own gym. I owned
Right.
my own gym for like 7 years.
Okay.
My clients have always followed me, but what I will say that here at Fit 360 is that the quality here. I mean, when people come here, they like what they see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that alone helps. The place is always clean.
Environment.
The environment is a perfect environment. So I think those are things that people like.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can find that perfect kind of balance of the environment, then it becomes a win-win. And I think what win-win for me here is that when people come in here, they just kind of like, I like it. There's options.
Mm-hmm.
There's choices. You know, I don't feel so stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it just, for me, allows me for more creativity. Because the more options I have here, it allows me to be more creative. I don't have to be stuck.
So you yourself don't get bored.
I don't get, exactly.
Right.
If I get bored.
Which also keeps you exciting and motivated about coming in.
Exactly. Especially when you do it 6 days a week.
Right.
In and out, you have different people throughout the whole day. Yeah, it gets repetitive. Yeah.
And not only that from the mental standpoint, but also the body get accustomed to a specific exercise very quickly, and it improved, but not as much as it did when you first do that exercise.
I agree.
Right. So from that perspective too, there's so many little legs and elements to being in a space that can allow you to keep yourself expanding and your client, which translates into your clients, right?
Yes.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean, you're enjoying it and your clients are enjoying it.
They are.
And I want to put out there that I've always wanted to create something. I'm a giver.
Yes.
I enjoy giving.
Yes. There's
something about giving just set off a certain endorphin in my body. Endorphins in my body. It brings me alive. And so while I might be a leader, I don't like to lead grown people.
I agree.
And that's why I want everyone to feel like this is their gym. I want people to do things in this space like it's theirs. And it's not going to bother me if they do. It actually makes me feel good. Because I feel like, so now they're feeling like they're a part of this thing. You know what I mean? So for me, when someone asks me about, Fitz, can I do X, Y, Z? And my response is to like, yeah. And they look at me in a way like, I'm looking at them like, why are you even asking me that? And they look at me like, well, I just want to make sure. And I get it because most people would not grant them, that favor. And so people are kind of like, oh, this is mine, me. I'm like, yo, have it. It's little bit different when it comes off that way. I'm like really puzzled by some of the questions or the requests, and my response. I'm like, why even? Like, take for instance, one of the instructors in class, who do private classes, texted me one day, and she's like, Fitz, is it okay if I work out on the gym floor? Do I have to buy a membership? And I'm looking at this text and I'm like, but you work here. So I text her back and I'm like, do you realize you work here? And she's like, yeah, but I just want to. And I was like, wow. Maybe I'm rude. I don't know what it is, but I would never ask that question.
I don't know if that's the norm. I think it depends on the gym. It depends on, because I've been at gyms where it's kind of known that if you train there, you have clients that come there, that you don't pay the membership. But when you're teaching in group classes, it's different because you're in and you're out. Your revenue is a little different. So I think when you're doing that, because I've taught classes before, you don't know kind of what the rules are between that and being a trainer. As a trainer, you kind of know, but as an instructor, it's different.
I think it's the same. It's like an unwritten rule.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I can see that.
Like, it doesn't have to be written on a piece of paper. Or I think it's just an unwritten rule that it doesn't matter. You bring money into the gym.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Why not?
I totally agree. I totally agree.
So that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And this is one of the examples. But my wife always tells me that I think differently from a lot of people, and so when I think about people being a certain way, I have to excuse it because I'm just different in that way.
Well, I think from my experience being here with you, you come from a place of care. A lot of times in this industry, in this business, people come from a place of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is what it's going to do. This is what it's going to cost.
Right.
It's tight. You can't do this. You can't do this because it doesn't bring me the revenue I want. You seem to come from a place of care, which means that you care about what's going on. I'm not saying you don't want the money, but
Right.
you care first, and then the money comes second. And I think that's the difference.
That is
the
exactly
difference.
how I see things.
Mhm.
I think like if I don't enjoy this, I don't care how much money it's gonna bring me. I don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I always believe that if I do something and I love doing it, the money will come.
Money will come. I agree.
And that's always worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no need for me to change that. And sometimes I think that's the way people do things, but it's not.
No, it's not.
You know, I believe if you're too tight-fisted and holding on to everything, that's when you have the potential to lose it. And that's when you lose it most of the time.
I agree.
I guess we all stick, some people think that's what works for them the best.
Mm-hmm.
I've had this conversation this week, actually, with another gym owner friend of mine. And he's very tight fist, very strict.
Yeah.
Don't want that, you want trainers to come and pay you rent into your business, but you treat them like shit.
Yeah.
And that's his mentality.
Yeah.
And so he's telling me how to that I should need to run my business that way. And I looked at him point blank and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it that way. I'm going to do it the way that I do it. And this is why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. And he's like, well, he thinks that something is going to happen one day that is going to prove me wrong. And I said, no, it won't. I said, because the moment that happens, I would allow the person to leave. And I'll be okay.
Yes, exactly.
It's not taking anything away from
don't
me.
take
I'm
it
not going to
personally.
change my business because of
Yeah.
that one person did this and did that. I said, people will do different. You can't expect everybody to do the same thing all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But if they do, is how my response
Yeah.
and how my feelings will be around this particular thing. It's not going to be what you think.
Yeah.
Just like if a member calls and say, I want to cancel my membership, I don't ask them why. It's very strange when I tell people this story. They're like, what do you mean? Why wouldn't you ask them why they're member? And I said, because they're grown, it's their money, and they can spend it the way they want to.
And everybody has personal
They don't
reasons
have to
of why.
spend it. Yes.
Yeah, everybody has their own personal reasons.
Right. I don't
Yeah.
need to know what that is. As long as they know why they're canceling,
Yes.
I don't need to know.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to stop them from canceling. If they don't want to be here for whatever reason, or they can't be here for whatever reason, there's no me talking,
Exactly.
trying to convince them to stay is going to make them stay.
Exactly.
Same reason why I do not call potential clients. Unless they tell me, oh, call me this particular day, this particular day, night, or time, or whatever, and I call that one time, and they don't call me back,
Yes.
I'm not calling again. So when a potential client has my number, and they say they're gonna call me on Tuesday at 12, and Tuesday at 12 come and they don't call me, I'm not picking up the phone calling them, what happened?
Yeah.
I would never call them.
Yeah.
Because I don't need your money. I want it, but I don't need it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it. I
I don't
totally get
need
it.
your business. I would like to have your business because it's a partnership. You pay me and I give you this. It's a trade-off. But if you don't decide that this is good for you, what I have to give you, I'm not going to convince you of that. You have to
Exactly.
figure that out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because when you figure it out, that's when you're ready. Because I don't want to force you to do something, and then a couple of days later, a month later, you have remorse, buyer's remorse. You didn't really want to do this in the first place, and so now you're ready to cancel.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. So I choose to operate my business that way.
I think that's a good way of approaching it.
If you're succeeding in your business, even though your business has nothing to do with me, but it does, because the more your business grows, is the more this grows.
Exactly.
So I would like to encourage you to do your business that it can grow. Okay? And then by that growing, if you're happy, that means you're happy here. I want to see smile on your face. I want to see joy in your heart. I want to see you drive up here with a fucking Bentley.
Exactly.
Even though I don't want one.
Yeah.
I'm okay with you having one.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you can afford to do that shit,
Yes.
oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I do.
Because I spend my money on different things. Like
Yeah.
I like to dress up, I like to buy expensive suits, and that's my thing.
Yeah,
A Bentley's not my thing,
exactly.
but
yeah.
I want
yeah.
to see you happy. I want your business to grow. I want you to make a shitload of money.
Mm-hmm.
I want every trainer to have that because we are providing something that's so amazing to people. Dude, do you realize that we are better than fucking doctors?
I know. We prevent them from going to doctors.
We,
Most
dude,
of them.
we
Yeah.
are better than doctors in the sense of a career. I'm not saying not as a person,
Yeah.
but our career is so fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We are changing people's lives.
I agree.
And when I say change, I mean immensely, in a great way. We are changing people's lives.
Mentally, physically,
That
and
makes
spiritually.
and that makes me proud of what I do, and I can do this for the rest of my life.
Exactly.
I think about my retirement, and I have to say, even though it hasn't happened yet, I'm gonna miss this shit
Yeah.
when that comes. I'm gonna
Will you
miss.
really ever retire, or will there always be something? That
Yeah, I will.
You will. Okay.
Oh yeah, because there's aspects of I you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not lazy, but I love being lazy.
Yeah.
You know what I? You know
I
what
do.
mean?
No, I totally get it.
I appreciate laziness. I think it's underrated. Resting, relaxation, just being lazy is underrated. Me, I don't care what anybody say. I love that shit.
Okay.
But when I want to get up and move,
Uh-huh.
I like to have the ability to get up and move. I like to sweat. I like to have my heart rate goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we can have all of it, and we should have all of it. There are times when I don't want my heart rate to go up. I want to just so fucking relax like a sloth. You know, I don't want to do shit.
Yeah.
But that's not my everyday part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I think about retirement, I think about being on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about retire, sitting in front of fucking TV all the rest of my life. I'm talking about being on the beach somewhere,
Traveling.
smelling the air,
Yeah.
you know, have a boat, whatever, going swimming, eating good food, hearing some good Caribbean music, vibing, seeing people smiling every day and kids run. I mean, that's how I think about it. And that doesn't look, I can't have this and that.
Yeah.
I don't want to work,
Yeah.
but I'm going to miss what I do.
Understood.
I'm going to miss the people. You know, I love it that much.
Yeah.
How do you see that? If you even, are you there yet?
I don't know if I'm there yet, but I see myself traveling. I'm definitely not gonna be one of those ones that sit by the TV and do nothing all day because I'm always doing something. I'm a busybody, but I can see myself doing the same thing. Where once I do retire, I want to travel the world. I want to go different places and just experience stuff.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if I'm a big sit by the beach guy, but I love being in the mountains.
Ooh, give me the bees.
I love being in the mountains. I just love traveling. Just traveling, going different places.
As long as it's whatever you love.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as it's whatever you love,
Exactly.
whatever that is for you,
Exactly.
it's the most important thing. So I want to go back a little bit. Do you consider any specific exercises that are better than the next?
You know, I get that question a lot from my clients. I get that a lot too.
too.
I don't buy into the better. I buy into different.
Mm-hmm.
I buy into there's several ways of doing different things to reach your goal or to accomplish a certain exercise. So I tend to shy away from better.
Okay.
I say I like this one because of this, or I do this because this seems more impactful. But better is relative
And
to
it
what-
could be for the person or for you at that moment.
Yes, it could be, because what could be better for you could be maybe you have a shoulder injury. Me using that word better would be in reference to what's going on with you.
Right.
But to just say an exercise is better than the other, I don't buy into that.
Good.
I don't
So
buy
this is
into
another way I look at it, because
Yeah.
I get asked that question a lot
Yeah.
from clients. Like, for instance, is squat better than leg press? And I would say none is better than the other,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that none is better than the other. Now, can you get better from squat? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Can you get better from leg press? Absolutely. So it depends on where you are.
Mhm.
Because if you have a knee injury that
Yes.
you say you've had surgery and coming off
Mhm.
of, the leg press would be better for you.
Exactly.
The squat is something that's going to hurt you.
Exactly. If you have
Okay.
back issues, the squat's
Right.
going to hurt you.
If you're an athlete and you're talking about power, building power, the squat might be good for you in terms of building power, but it also depends on how you're squatting. If you're squatting a lot of weight and moving at a rapid speed, now you're talking about power. It varies. You can also, you would always be able to do more weight on a leg press than a squat. The squat is a little bit more difficult. But if you have comparably the same weight aspect, you're still getting that benefit. If you're squatting all the time and you're not doing leg press, over a period of time, the leg press is going to be better for you because you haven't done it as much.
Your body needs something
compared
to shake it up. Yes.
Just to switch can
Just to
make the
switch.
leg press better that day.
I agree.
Do you consider rest important?
Very important. I don't get enough of it. I will be guilty of it. But in the grand scheme of things, rest is very important.
Why? Why you think so? Why you think, and how important? Give me a little bit more, because
Well,
I guess
body-
what I'm. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I guess what I'm saying is that when people think of rest, they think, okay, I'm tired, so I need to rest. Then there's the aspect of, you know what, I think it's time for a vacation type of rest. Or you feel like, okay, I've been running around doing all these different things, whatever that consists that in your day, and you're so exhausted from that mentally, you know, because there's mental rest, there's spiritual rest,
And there's physical rest.
and there's physical rest. And so it all depends on what aspect of that you're coming from. I think all of it is important,
I think they all work together.
but I think conscious rest is most important, whether it be physical or mental. When you consciously take a day to rest, it's more meaningful to me than when you're forced to rest. Because sickness is a form of rest too. Your body is saying like, I can't do anymore, I'm shutting this shit down. And it forces you to rest, right? But when you're doing conscious rest, you're not sick. You're deciding, I'm not doing shit today, I'm just gonna chill. And that comes back to my question before, and I say, I really appreciate laziness.
Okay.
And I don't mean laziness like, oh, I'm just lazy. I can't do anything because I'm lazy. I like the laziness because I choose to just be lazy today. I want to do anything, and I'm choosing to do that because I love myself, and I appreciate what rest does for me, and it's a time for me to recover, and I'm doing it purposefully, versus, shit, I'm just exhausted. I need to go rest.
Well, when I think of rest, I understand what you're saying, but when I think of rest, I think of the physical aspect of it. I understand the conscious choice, but I think of the physical aspect of how the cells have to heal, how the body has to recover, how to prevent the injuries because the muscles are broken down so much. So when I think of that, I think of physical rest and how it impacts you from a physical standpoint. I think mental rest is very, very important because it all ties into the physical. The stress level.
Yes.
But I think most people when they think about rest, they think about the physical aspect of it.
Right.
Okay, I need to rest for 3 days because if I don't, I may injure myself. So
I think most people don't rest enough.
I agree. I think most people don't rest enough.
And then there's the mental rest, which I would say, people have an aversion for meditation. Oh, I can't sit there and not think about something. Like, you haven't even tried long enough to even quantify saying something like that.
I find that some people don't have the capacity. I mean, I hate.
Everyone has the capacity.
I hate to go against.
We're
you on
just
it.
conditioned poorly.
I agree. I hate
It's
to go
poor
against you.
conditioning.
I think it is, but you know what? That conditioning is kind of who they are today. You know, when you have people who are conditioned to do
Of course,
that,
it is who they are today, but they can change it. That's what conditioning built who the person is, but you're stuck into being this person.
I agree.
And so you have to make a decision. Like I just like you can decide at any time in your life, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And you do it because you realize that the person you were doesn't benefit you. But some people are living in a certain condition that they believe that they can't get out of it because they haven't made the choice to do so.
So let me ask you a question then. Let's tap, with everything that's going on now, it's all about mental health. What if a person, this is me throwing something back at you.
Sure.
What if a person mentally just can't do it? They don't have the mental capacity for whatever reason. I'm on the same page with you with you make a decision, you decide, you make a change. But what if we have people who really mentally don't know how to tap into that?
Okay, so my answer is there are people who mentally don't know how to tap into that. But do they think that they can't find out how? Now that's a challenge. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You can't fix a car because you never learned how to fix a car. But if you decide, you know what, I'm gonna learn to fix a car.
Yes.
What do?
You find someone who can teach you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you really want to meditate or do anything in your life, it's a matter of making the choice to do so. And I'm not saying it's easy because it's hard to get out of the condition that you're used to. Because the condition that you're used to is so normal. It is so easy because you don't have to think about it. So when you decide you want to switch that into something else and learn something different, it takes a lot more mental thinking and processing and going through all this unnatural way of being. And so it is hard, but it doesn't mean you can't.
I agree.
It doesn't mean you can't.
Yeah.
And again, it's a matter of decision. And I'm not saying that you have to if you don't want to. What I'm saying is that don't sit there and say you can't do something when you've already decided that you can't do it.
I agree with you on that. Like you haven't even decided, you haven't even tried. You just
Right. You have to want to do it.
Yeah.
And I think, I know it goes for everything in your life. Everything in your life. Just like we say, well, I don't like to exercise, I don't like to do this, I don't like to do that. That's a different thing from when you can't.
Exactly.
When you feel like you can't. You don't like doing something, it's different.
Yeah.
But when you say you can't do it, you know what's funny? I laugh at this. You tell them to do something. You do a squat. And they do a squat. They do the first one, and it's good. They do the second one, and it's good. You tell them to give me 10 or 15 squat. And they get to 10 and they can't do it. I can't do it. So I laugh because I said, wait a minute, you just did it.
Yeah.
You didn't do the number I tell you to do, but you did 10 of them.
Exactly.
You didn't do 50, you did 10, so you just squat. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I never thought about it like that. Oh. I said, if you did one, you did it exercise. And you did it right.
Yeah.
If you didn't do it right, I'll correct you. The fact that I didn't correct you, did it right. So stop saying you can't do it. And they're like, oh, I never thought about it that way. I'm like, yeah. So the point I'm trying to make with that, with the can't, and it is that some people really don't know that they're doing something. Take meditation, for instance. They'll sit there and they're on all kinds of thoughts coming in their head. And it's like, oh, I can't meditate, I can't do it. The fact that you're quiet, even if thoughts are coming in there, you're meditating.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not the perfect kind of meditation, but it's where you begin.
It's where you begin. Yeah.
It's where you begin. Just sit and be quiet. If thoughts
Sit
comes
be
in,
quiet.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Close your eyes and breathe. It's okay. If it's 15 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you just meditate for 5 minutes. It's no different from me meditating for 30 minutes. You meditate, that's your choice of meditating for 5 minutes. So let's just be nice to yourself. Appreciate what you can do.
Exactly.
And if you appreciate what you can do, before you know it, you're doing 5.5 minutes.
Exactly.
6 minutes. And it starts to grow. And that becomes your condition after a while. And before you know it, you're doing it. Not even remembering that, oh, I've said that I couldn't do it. Allow yourself. Be nice to yourself. Just chill.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
It's one of the ultimate way of self-love.
Yeah.
Stop telling, I can't this and I can't. Just let go, man. Just let go.
Yeah, I get it.
We're too tight and hard on ourselves.
Yeah, that's self-love thing. A lot of people have a problem with that. They
that.
have a problem with that.
But they think that they can love someone else.
Yeah.
You're not.
Can't love
If
someone
you
if you don't
can't
have
love
some
yourself,
self-
you're not loving anybody else.
I totally
You
agree.
loving certain things about them,
Yeah.
but real love, it's a no.
Yeah.
Until you can tell me you love yourself and really show that, you can't. You're not. The love that you think you love someone else, that you're showing someone else, is not real love. Because you don't know how.
Exactly. I agree.
You haven't
Right.
learned how.
Yeah.
You can learn how,
Yeah.
but you're not. That's not what it is. It goes back to what I said earlier, that I love to see people achieving what they want, which is why I love when my clients achieve their goals and they're getting better. And I love to see other trainers surviving, and not only that, but anybody else in your profession. Because I believe, and I truly believe, that there is enough for everyone.
Yes.
By you limiting that, then you're saying God is limited. And God is not limited. God is unlimited. So there's enough for everybody. There's enough money in the world to feed everybody. There's enough food in the world to feed her. There's enough oxygen. There's enough gravity. There is enough of everything that we need and desire, and even stuff that we haven't thought about yet is sitting there for us to get to it. So this mentality like, oh, give me mine, give me mine.
Yeah.
I don't want no parts of that. I don't want no parts of that. None of it.
I understand.
Because that means I'm gonna limit myself. And I'm not limited. I am unlimited. There's an unlimited source of who Fitzroy is. Even if this falls apart, it won't mean what you think it means to me. It won't do nothing for me in terms of making me feel bad about myself and my ability to achieve the next thing. Yeah.
Powerful. Yeah, no, I do.
On that note, man, what else you got to tell the people, man?
Enjoy. Appreciate.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Yes, all day.
Yes.
That's one of my words every day.
Love yourself.
Gratitude is one of my big words.
One of the,
And I got that from the show Spartacus.
I like the show. Okay.
They use that a lot. And I was like, you know what? My wife and I was like, we love that word. We're gonna say that from now on. Gratitude.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Anyway, man, I'm sorry to continue.
No.
Let's close this thing out.
Close it out with empowerment. There's a quote that I normally use. Let me see if I can remember. It's like, everything you need and want, you have in you. That's the quote that I've always used. I tell myself, everything I need and want is already in me.
Everything you need and want is in you.
Yes.
You hear that? Everything you need and want is inside of you. That means what I just talked about, love, is inside of you. That's the only place you can find it. And when you find it there, you will be the best you.
Exactly.
I guarantee it.
Exactly.
On that note, family, see you next time. Peace.
Peace.
My brother.
Good conversation.
Wasn't that better than you thought it was?
It was. I enjoyed it. I had to keep, okay, I'm in front of a camera. It doesn't matter. Let's just talk.
Yeah. I don't even see the camera, man. I just focus on the mic and I focus on what you're saying. And that's it.
No, it's cool. It's good.